Bart, we are back. Episode 1, Season 2. We got renewed, man. We got renewed. Look, we were trying to get some deals for like with Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix. Reached out to all of those guys. They turned us all down. So we're just back, uploading it on YouTube still. But hey, we're back for Season 2. People wanted it, and now we're back.
We're going to give it to them.
Alan. We're going to give it to him. Alan, what's up, man?
I'm still here, brother. I'm still here.
You're still here.
I'm a year
back
older.
For Season 2 as well.
He's back. We brought him back for Season 2.
Older and wiser.
Older for sure, wiser.
Older
I don't
for
know
sure.
so much.
Much better looking than last year.
Yeah,
I will agree with that, Alan. I don't know what you've done, but it's working.
So good looking. We took the camera from him again.
I took a shower in July, so I'm still pretty clean.
Yeah, you're good. Alan, do you smell that?
What The Rock is cooking?
No. Bart, do you smell that?
I do.
Smell that? Let me show you everyone what they are smelling real quick. But don't burn myself.
Isn't that sweet?
That is the smell of the greatest season of all time. The GOAT. Fall, baby. That is, you are smelling pumpkin waffles right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Pumpkin waffles. I don't care. I don't care if it's still in August. I don't care if you walk out and you're still sweating sogginess and you're all of that and it's humid and you can barely breathe. We are getting ready to be in the season of
Bart, what do you
fall.
make of this?
It's my favorite season of the year, but I don't know if I'm on board with the pumpkin.
What an embarrassment.
Waffle.
Why are you not?
Oh, my goodness. What is that?
Why are you hating? Why are you hating on the pumpkin? Hello, pumpkin. Alan, it's my favorite. It's my favorite season.
I sense it.
It's the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Did you go out in the pumpkin patch and pick a winner?
Why, you might ask, is my favorite season? Well, one is cooler.
Because of the fair, isn't it?
It's the fair.
You want the French fries.
I love the fair food. I do. I go to the fair only for the food. Like, who else goes to the fair to do anything else but eat the food?
Eat?
Funnel cakes, vinegar fries, all of that stuff. October's my favorite month. We have...
Is it because of those ridiculous horror movies that you're always watching?
Scary
Halloween.
movies. Haunted housing. My birthday.
Haunted housing?
Yeah.
Is that like some public service?
Section 8 haunted housing.
We're going to put you in haunted housing.
going to... Yeah.
2 minutes in, we've already got our first blooper.
Yep. It's there. It doesn't take long.
Haunted housing.
And that's
Fannie
why...
Mae housing. Would you like it haunted or not?
Would you like to be in our Ichabod Crane program?
and that's why Hulu didn't pick us up. Yeah.
Yep.
It's on me. It's on me, guys. It's all on me. It's all on me. But, yeah. And then we have football.
We do.
Right?
That's why
Football.
it's my favorite time of the year.
Football is back. There's not a Sunday now that you will go from now until February that you won't see a football game. Preseason NFL's back.
Saturday, Monday, Thursday night. You just can't get enough.
All of it's coming back. I mean, high school football, we're going to get into that. We got a big surprise for all our audience tonight about high school football, getting into that.
Huge.
We're starting off with a bang. Season 2, Episode 1.
Good one.
Of Mind Your Business podcast. I guess I should get the name out there at some point today, right?
Might as well.
This is Mind Your Business podcast. And we're excited. Bart, what is your favorite thing about fall?
I love it when it starts getting just a little cooler. You can feel the crispness in the air. The chills kind of start down your spine, especially when, you used to walk on that football field and it's about to be kickoff time.
Yeah.
Oh, man, there's no feeling like it.
I'm telling you what, it's bound to be that time. That is straight from Rutherford County right there. Bountina.
Is that where it's from?
Have you heard that before?
No.
Yeah.
Bountina.
Yeah, that's because it's from Rutherford County. Bountina.
Did you play, Justin, football back in the day?
So I played all the way up until high school. And if I had to regret anything in my life, and I know the whole coach motto, stuff like that. Live by, don't regret, whatever. I regret not playing in high school. Here's why. Because I would have 2 state championship rings.
Or if you were on the team, you wouldn't. Because you would have maybe sucked.
What position would you have played, Justin?
Well, I would probably. I'm thinking no.
I could say like cornerback, outside linebacker.
I might have been too light for outside linebacker. I don't know. We can get the coaches when we get them in here. Talk about that here in just a second.
We can get them to run you some drills.
Oh, I run the drills. I can still run the drills right now. My feet work is excellent, boys. Excellent. I'm thinking either safety, free safety, somewhere like that.
Okay, like a Ronnie Lott.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Just ready to hit somebody.
Bart.
Or
you're going way back now.
Or I think I could have been the third string running back. And I say third string because when I played, we had and you'll know who we're talking about. We had Travis Padgett. Olympic runner.
Olympic runner, yeah.
Yeah. And then we had Marche Littlejohn, who went on to play Gardner Webb and succeeded well. I mean, our backfield was stacked.
Padgett ran track for Clemson, too, didn't he?
He did.
Yep,
He did. And we also, on that team, had Manio Mitchell.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Didn't Padgett win gold in the relay?
No, Manio.
No, Padgett, Travis.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
He didn't? Okay, I thought he did.
But Manio won silver in the relay. That's who you're thinking about.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't even start in the backfield. He was like kickoff return. That's how stacked those teams were.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, there was a lot of raw talent during those years. So I regret not. I wrestled, and they kind of collided together. So I kind of had to pick one or the other. Well, and I felt like I was better at wrestling than I was at football at that particular time, so I went with wrestling.
Well, you did wrestle NCAA, so.
He did also go to App State for camp.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
I sure did. I wrestled so the year that Crest won, my senior year, when they won the back-to-back state championship, I went to the States and wrestled in the state championships. I didn't win, but, hey, I was there, right? That counts for something, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, not much.
We're going to make it count tonight.
We'll ask our guests when we get them on if that counts for anything. Like making it there, right?
Yeah.
Like that has to count for something.
They're going to tell you it does just to make you feel good.
Yeah, they will. Probably. So, Bart and Alan, I got this interesting story that I came across, and I want to get your your thoughts on this.
Does this have anything to do with an alligator?
No, it does have. It does have to do with water, though.
Okay, now we're intrigued.
Yeah, so this marathon guy, all right?
What a start.
It's awesome.
This marathon guy.
Listen, this blew my mind, okay? This blew my mind. This happened August. The story was posted by the Athletic Post on August the 12th, okay? This guy was training, apparently, for his marathon, all right? He was swimming in Lake Michigan. Okay.
Now you're talking about like a triathlon?
Yeah, okay. But he's a marathon runner, but he's training for a triathlon.
Oh, okay,
right?
I got
All right. So he's swimming in Lake Michigan. Man has to give up. The reason he has to give up is because his GPS dies. So he gets lost in the water.
GPS works in the water. I guess it does for boats and such.
No, you needed a GPS to go swimming, but
so
he must have been way out there.
Yeah. Yeah,
he was way away from the haunted housing.
Yeah, he was. Anyway, I have so many questions.
Why don't you just swim the shoreline? I mean,
one, if you're preparing for a swim of that nature, I mean, we're talking. He was swimming 80 miles across Lake Michigan. First of all, 80 miles. Heck. Like, how long is that taking you swimming?
I'm worn out driving 80 miles.
Like, right?
He's going to swim from here to Asheville.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So you're swimming 80 miles. How are you not more prepared with that? Like, you're doing all this training. You're eating right. Your cardio is up to par. But then you get out there, and the reason you can't finish your training session is because your GPS dies? What kind of preparation is that?
I don't know.
Your GPS dies. So he goes, he's 60 years old too. This guy's name is Jim Dyer. He's 60 years old. Okay, why are you 60 swimming 80 miles?
Maybe he's going to get to his age and quit.
That just sounds like disaster written all over. And then your GPS dies. You're asking for trouble.
Not a good commercial for Duracell.
No.
He should have had that Energizer. That bunny would have kept going and going.
He was 60. He had 20 more miles to go, but he was swimming in the wrong direction. So instead of having 20 miles to go, he actually had 47 more miles to go.
Well, he's just going to swim back to shore because he lost his direction.
His quote was, after everybody, he had to get rescued and all this stuff. Somebody saw him, got him on the boat, took him back to shore. And they asked him what happened. He said, my GPS dies. They said, how does that make you feel? He goes, what a blow. That's all he said. What a blow. Like, wow. Are you serious?
He's disappointed, you know.
I mean, yeah, disappointed, but
so I guess my natural question is, how was he rescued? Was there a rescue boat there?
Yeah, well, there was people in the actual lake, obviously, because it's a lake. So they were and he was like waving for help, like, "Hey,
what a story!
I thought I had 20 miles to go. I'm not going to make it 47 because I'm 60 years old out in the middle of the lake."
I don't know.
I mean, more power to him for being 60 and swimming 80 miles.
That's quite an accomplishment. But, I mean, I'm like, it's not the most sensible options.
I still don't get how you're that unprepared to
What
go
a blow.
out.
What a blow.
What a blow. What a blow. Well, we're going to take our first break after that introduction. We're glad you're back with us. We hope that you stay tuned because we have a crazy killer episode ready to go for us.
Oh, we're bringing it the first episode of this season. I mean, absolutely bringing it.
I mean,
this beats Santa Claus.
We're returning a guest from last season, but bringing in another guest with that guest. It's going to be epic because especially if you're from Cleveland County,
can't miss this one.
This is the podcast that you want to see. So stay with us. We'll be right back on Mind Your Business, and we'll talk a little bit about some football, baby.
Can't wait.
We'll be right back.
They're everywhere. Your yard, your kitchen, your bedroom. Invading your home and property, spreading disease, and destroying everything in their path. If you don't act, they'll multiply, crawling ever closer to you and your family. The only thing they fear is the web. Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control. Call today for their new service special and save $25. Bugs, beware of the web.
Welcome back to Mind Your Business Podcast. This is our first episode of Season 2. We're excited to be back, Bart, especially with what we got coming in and what two guests that we have coming in. Talking about football, baby, because we're back in the fall, right?
Speaking of football, we're in the presence of greatness.
Greatness.
I mean, really. Greatness. When it comes to high school football.
Let's go ahead and introduce him. Get him on the camera. We got Coach Mike Wilbanks from Shelby High School and Coach Greg Lloyd from Crest High School. Welcome.
Yeah,
guys. Glad to be here. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so
it smells good in here.
Yes, it smells like what? Pumpkin waffles?
Pumpkin waffles.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I like those.
And they're not punching each other or kicking or any of that stuff.
Oh.
This is what kind of rivalry is this?
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, Justin's gonna crank them up a little bit.
First of all, so you guys heard, you sat here for our introduction. You heard the introduction. What is your thoughts on fall? Is that one of your favorite times of the year?
Absolutely. October is my favorite month. My birthday is that month as well. But October, the college football season is in full swing, and baseball playoffs and NFL, and if you're a NASCAR fan, that's kind of winding down and getting toward the playoffs. So October is great. I love October.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback on with that. I mean, I love football. And once September and October rolls around, it's not a better time of year, and it gets cool. Practice gets a little bit better, and kids get a little more excited. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, so you're talking about coolness and like those first few games of the season, and we'll get into it. I mean, it's still blazing hot. it's never a good time, being on the field and sweating like that. But then that crisp air starts coming in, rolling in, and it's like, okay, now we're talking football weather.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a little bit of history on Crest and Shelby, just kind of giving you a little history of the two programs and what they have accomplished. And honestly, Bart, if you're looking at Cleveland County football, and I don't mean any disrespect to Kings Mountain or Burns by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like the cream of the crop, so to speak, is Crest and Shelby.
Oh, you're going to make so many people mad right now. I love it. I love it.
But listen, I am not knocking Kings Mountain, nor am I knocking Burns. They have great programs, and they've had programs on the rise in the last few years. But if you're talking about just history, tradition, winning, it's Crest and Shelby here in Cleveland County. I mean, it just is. And let's just look at it.
Justin Martin is his last name, folks.
Send all hate mail to this address.
Yeah. Don't look me up. Crest, for example. Crest in the last, since their history, 21 conference championships. 21 conference championships, 10 state championships appearances, 6 state championships. That was in 94, 96, 03, 04. The ones that I could have had my rings on right there. 14 and 15. So I graduated in 05. I'm telling my age a little bit. But if you noticed, Alan and Bart, did you hear this kind of trend for the state championships?
Yeah, it's like every comes 10, in threes.
Yeah, it's every 10 years too. So last one was won in 2014. We're in 2024.
What does that mean, Justin?
Lloyd.
I hope that's a good sign.
No pressure. No pressure whatsoever.
Looks like Crest is due for one. Shelby's 39 conference championships.
Good gracious.
39.
Wow.
Between the two schools, you got 60 conference championships.
That's amazing.
Now, a lot of those years too, the Cleveland County, all 4 Cleveland County schools was in the same conference.
Yep.
So again, I wasn't throwing shade at Burns or Kings Mountain. It's just facts are facts. Mm-hmm. Shelby has 18 state championships.
Wow.
18. And 6 of those were when Coach Wilbanks.
Western North Carolina High School Athletic Association up until, I think, 1981 or somewhere in there is when we joined the NCHSAA.
Yeah. So 6 of those was that, but then you have, 12 state championships. 18 total. The history is there for these two programs. And to be able to open up the, episode 1 of season 2 with these two guys and talk about the upcoming season and the rivalry of Shelby and Crest and what that means to the community. And I think it's the biggest rivalry as far as Cleveland County is concerned. Some people would argue Shelby Kings Mountain. Some people would argue now that Burns is in Shelby's conference, they would argue that. And I might be a little biased because I'm from Crest, obviously. But I think Shelby Crest, that always lives up to the billing. Talking about the rivalry itself, since 1980, 26 wins belong to Crest, 17 wins belong to Shelby.
It's not like it's one-sided.
No, I think that's a pretty good picture of what a rivalry should look like.
Yep.
It's not like you said, one-sided by any means. And I'm telling you right now, the last 2 games of this series, Coach Wilbanks has been on the wrong end of those games, but fun games to be at.
Oh, yeah, high scoring, high offense. You can't ask for anything better.
Amazing stuff.
Competitive.
So 26 since 1980, and if I'm not mistaken, Coach Lloyd, you might be able to back me up on this, but I'm pretty sure 1980 was the first year that Crest actually won in the rivalry.
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
John Toder was the coach.
Yeah,
was head coach. Yeah.
So looking back on some of those stats too, and you guys can talk about this a little bit, how much the game has kind of changed. Looking back on those stats, if you see total offense, that game in particular, no passing yards for each team. 0.
Zero. Right? That's what it was. Ground and pound.
Crest had like 300 yards rushing. The next year in 1981, I think Shelby threw for 5 yards and Crest again 299 yards rushing. It was not like the pass game in high school going to the 80s and until the really early 90s, if you look back at least those games, nobody was passing the ball. But now it's more like, let's see what we can do with it.
Oh, yeah, it's more wide open now, and it's exciting, and get a lot of kids involved with the offensive game plan every week. And I know I speak with Coach. He throws it more than we do, but we'll do our share of passing as well. But it's fun. So yeah, kids love it.
Games back then used to start at 8 o'clock, and they could still make it to the paper. But now, if you started the game at 8 o'clock, it'd be on into the next morning maybe.
Yeah,
the games last longer because of the passing.
It's just funny to see each decade, as I was looking through the stats, how each decade it got a little more passing yards, you know, and I didn't realize that the game started back then at 8 o'clock.
Yep, they sure did. Oh, yeah. They went 8 o'clock through. It was a long time.
I know Shelby hung on to the 8 o'clock start time, even when I was coaching at when I coached at Kings Mountain in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. You played everybody else at 7:30, but if you went to Shelby,
you played at 8.
Played at 8. Then you had to go eat in the cafeteria. You remember that?
Oh, Coach Taylor? Absolutely.
Yeah, Coach Taylor.
Both teams ate together after the game.
After the game.
Both teams went in the cafeteria.
Sure did.
At the school and ate after the game.
So that's interesting. So after the game, win or loser, going in the cafeteria, eating together.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize that the two coaches were brothers back then.
It's true.
Buddy and John.
But this was with everybody. Shelby did this with every team.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they did it every week.
So with the big rivalries like Crest, Burns, Kings Mountain, all of that with Shelby, was there any conflict in that? I mean, I would have to imagine. Sure,
conflict.
I tell people all the time, and Coach Lloyd has played in the rivalry and coached in it, but people think that.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is after we play with Crest, you can't hardly get the two teams off the field because everybody knows each other, and win or lose. Somebody's unhappy you lost, but they're standing around and talking for a long time. Wouldn't you agree, Coach?
Oh, yeah, and the game makes each other better. It makes the teams better.
Yeah.
And in that game, it makes you better because it's a big-time environment. The kids play extremely hard. They have to play under quite a bit of pressure. I mean, it just makes you a better team playing in the game, win or lose, for sure.
Yeah. Does it affect I'm not saying the way you approach the game because it's still a huge rivalry game as it's Crest and Shelby. But now that the teams that's not in your conference now. Do you approach it differently? Do you look at it differently that way? Do the kids still get as hyped up as they would if it was a conference game? I mean, there's not as big of implications on it because it's not going against your conference record, but still it's a huge game, obviously.
It's a huge game because like you said, I think it's the biggest rivalry in the state of North Carolina, and you want to have those bragging rights for a year.
Yeah,
I mean, you
pride.
do. You want to win. There's a lot of pride. You want to win, and I know I speak for Coach when I say, they want to win, and we want to win. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
both teams prepare hard. They play hard. They love the competition. Like I said, it just makes you better. It makes both teams better, and you just can't find that just anywhere. I'm telling you, you can't find
that's something special. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. The kids that get to play in the game, the coaches that get to coach in the game, and the fans that get to come out and watch it every year. I mean, they're very lucky. I really believe that, and we're just very fortunate to live where we live and coach where we coach, and the kids. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
As far as talking about the players and things of that nature, I mean, have you guys lost any players in key positions this year, and how many starters do you have returning in key positions?
Are you talking about due to graduation or through injury or like what do you?
Or just in general? I mean, like mainly seniors.
From last year's team, we lost a D lineman and a couple D linemen and a good receiver, and we lost some key pieces there. And but I'm sure Crest is the same way. It's just next man up,
right?
You hope you have somebody who can fill in and hold the line, so to speak. And but as far as going into this year, we haven't had any serious injuries to speak of yet. Good. We got some rolled ankles and bum shoulders and that kind of stuff, which is normal after you're going through a couple of weeks of early August practice. But we're fairly healthy now, and Really, I don't know. I mean, I know of a couple of guys right now, maybe, but I'm sure coach is the same way. It's still early to tell who's going to be the guy until, a month from now we could be sitting here and I'll know, okay, this guy, he's a big-time contributor. Or this guy's a contributor. Or this guy who I thought was going to be a contributor hadn't panned out the way we thought he would. So it's still, the teams are still gelling right now, so it's kind of hard to say who your main contributors are. I mean, we got a few returners that we're going to depend on, just like Crest has, but there's still a lot of question marks.
We've got more back on defense than we have on offense. We lost our quarterback, the top 3 receivers, all college players. Mm-hmm. We lost our center. So we do have 4 O-linemen back. We got a couple receivers got some experience last year, played some, and then defensively we have 9 legitimate starters back. So I'm kind of counting on that side of the ball to be really good this year. I believe we're going to be improved on that side of the ball. And like Coach said, we're still looking for some guys to step up, and we're doing a really good job in practice, and they're working hard. We've got a lot of good players are really hungry to put a good product on the field, so we're ready to get going.
So when you talk about players returning, you had a lot of your offense kind of graduate and move on. Great players. I mean,
absolutely
studs. But as a coach, would you rather lose more on defense or offense coming back into the next season?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess it's just, I don't know. I think it's good to have, regardless of what side of the ball, it's nice to have a good nucleus back on one side or the other, so you can kind of build your team around that side of the ball till the other side catches up. So I've had it both ways. Some years I don't know which has turned out better, but I think for us this year at Crest, I think it is good that we have a lot of defensive guys back because I think we're going to take a major step forward on that side of the ball.
Good. You guys have a lot of players going both ways, or is that common anymore?
We're going to have a few. It won't be a ton. We got a good bit of depth, and we're trying to play as many players as possible. But we will have some playing both ways, and you'll get some of your best guys on the field, regardless especially if they can handle it. And it's tough early on in the season, like you said earlier. But as the year goes on, it gets a little easier to play on both sides once it cools down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing we have is, and we may not have a starter. We may have 1 or 2 guys that will start both sides of the ball. But the thing is, like, if you got 4 defensive linemen, well, the 2 or 3 backup for defensive line, they start at offensive line. So if you're rotating some guys in, there's times when they'll step from one side of the ball to the other. Or if you got a corner who he starts at corner, but he's your 5th receiver, or sometimes he may have to go from one side to the other. So while there may not be a whole lot of legitimate 2-way starters, there's a lot of guys that'll play both sides of the ball.
So when you're talking about the offense side of the ball, both coaches, as far as, for example, for you, Coach Lloyd, you got basically new kids coming in at skill positions, and that's always the toughest part. With you, it's going to be a little different. This question is going to be a little different for you, for example, because you're coming in after Coach Soulsby coming in, and,
right.
and you're kind of starting over, like with your own philosophy and all of that. But does your playbook change from year to year when it's offense? Do you add new plays? Do you kind of stick with what works, that kind of thing?
That's a good question, because I think we do have there's things we would do every year that we like, that we feel comfortable running, that we feel like works most years, and then you decide what you have. Mm-hmm. If your quarterback's a dual threat, you add more running plays for him. If he's more of a pocket passer, he can't, he can throw the ball, but he's not much of a runner, then of course you build it around that. And like for this year's team, I think we're going to be pretty solid at both, but we do have 2 really, really talented running backs, and so we're going to run the ball a good bit. But like I said, we'll be able to throw it some, and we got some skilled guys that can catch it. So it's just learning the new offense. So, like I told our kids, we're one of probably the only programs around that's having to learn both schemes on both sides of the ball. So we're having to learn a new defensive scheme and a new offense scheme. So they're really having to work hard, and they're doing a good job with it. So and we did a decent job last week at the scrimmage, and we'll only get better. So got some film to look at, and saw some improvement, and hopefully we'll do a good job this week at the Jamboree and improve.
Yeah, Coach Wilbanks.
What was the question? We're talking about offense?
Yeah, offense. Does it change from year to year for you guys as well, or?
Oh yeah. Some years if you've got more receivers, you may want to keep them on the field. And there's some years if you're thinking I only got a couple, I may play with an H-back or a tight end type a little more if I don't. Because you always think about, do I want to take one of these guys off the field if I don't have something else to put out there?
He ain't playing with H-back much. He's throwing the ball.
There it is. Robert's coming out a little bit.
Fight.
Play to that H-back.
But I will say that the comfortable thing that we have that I know is different for Coach Lloyd is last year we started a sophomore quarterback, and we took our lumps with him. So, he's got 15 games under his belt.
Yeah,
he knows what we mean when we say this or that, and when we looking at somebody and we're talking about, well, he was here, you need to throw it there, so you're just more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you saw that last season with him.
Oh yeah,
you saw like the progression that he took
exactly,
and that with him the team took
right,
and making that deep run into the.
It was a lot of fun to watch him grow up, basically in front of us. And I mean, it wasn't fun at the time, starting out 0-3.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's going to pay off this year. Hopefully he's a seasoned guy now, and hopefully he doesn't have the jitters going into that first game with Kings Mountain like he might have had last year.
Yeah.
Coach and his coach staff do a good job with their quarterbacks. Every time they start a new one, it does not take them long to get comfortable. It's just like with the guy he's got now, he's really good, and you can, like I said, he's just so good now. And I watched him the other day at the scrimmage. He's phenomenal. He's big and he can throw, and like I said, they do a great job with their offense. I was kind of kidding with his H-back son, but I mean, they can throw it as good as anybody, and they catch it as good as anybody, and they do a good job of coaching what they do, and they're tough to stop.
Yeah.
We took our lumps. We only finished second or third in the state last year.
Start off over 3, it ain't no fun. You start off over 3, you're not thinking about November, December then, are you?
It's tough, yep.
Well, does the defensive formations change based on your opponent, or do you guys just run a base defense all the time and make the offensive team meet that defense? Or do you
got a base package. I mean, everybody has their base package. You'll be either most people when they talk, they're going to say, are you a 4-down or a 3-down team?
Right.
But people want to know if you got 3 D linemen or 4 D linemen. But you can make it look how you want it to look based on who you're playing. I mean, if we're playing some wing T team, we can make it look like a 5 D lineman if we need to. Or if we're playing somebody who has 5 wide receivers, we can make it look like 3 defensive linemen if we need to. So you have a base package, and you can just kind of adjust out of that based on what you're facing each week.
No doubt. He's right. You have to be multiple, because one week, like for us, we're playing Shelby one week, and they're throwing it and spreading us out and this, that, and the other. And a few weeks later, we're playing South Point, and they're playing the flex bone, and they're running triple option. So you have to be multiple to play now. And it makes it fun, but it's challenging too.
But the same formation doesn't suit all offensive styles. So you have to basically have 3 or 4 different formations, just like multiple plays on offense is what you're.
Yeah, you have to be able to line up in different things. It's like Coach says, it starts with something, but then you have to be able to adjust. And you might be, like I said, you might be in an odd front where you have 3 down linemen, and you're in an even front, you have 4. And you may end up, we're playing Charlotte Catholic, we got them this year, they're liable to be in 2 tights and 2 wings, and we're in a 6-man front. It's possible. So I mean, it's a lot of it's game planning too.
So Bart, he's essentially saying they don't just go with the Madden recommends pick.
Well, the old stereotype of the dumb football player, it does not exist anymore on either side of the ball, because if I'm at home and I'm talking, or if I'm watching film, and my wife, and she'll be like, how do they remember all that stuff? Because even on defense, you got to be able to, and on defense, I think it's harder to play defense. I don't know what Coach Lloyd would say to that, but I think because they got to see a formation, make a check, then they got to do something when they see something happening on the offense, and so the defense has a lot more things. To me,
I mean, you're talking about coverage, press, not
within about 20 seconds.
Shifts on the line of scrimmage, all this stuff.
Then the ball snapped and everybody's moving, and then you got to see your key. Where am I going? They're just line it up and put your hand down and just go forward.
That's not it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I had a friend in high school went on to play some college ball, and he said, "Man, they sure know how to suck all the fun out of football." He said, "All we did was watch game film all the time."
Oh, yeah.
But that's what makes you better. Mm-hmm. I mean, the film sessions. I mean, obviously practice is important, but film and knowing, hey, this is what you should expect in this formation. This is what this kid is good at doing. This is what we need to look at. This is what we need to look for. This is what all that has to be one of the more important things that you guys do.
And I tell you, people think that you got to watch the other team, which you do, but for us, we get more out of watching ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like at practice, or at that scrimmage, or at the jamboree this Friday, we're going to get better showing our kids, okay, this is not how it should look. Then maybe we can pull up a film how it should look.
Right.
Because the kids think, oh, I did so-and-so. No, you didn't. When you show them on film, it kind of resonates better. So we get a lot out of just self-evaluation and self-scouting.
Do your job type thing.
There you go.
Yep.
Do your job. How important it is it there's the jamboree is coming up for you guys Friday night, and then the Little League, as I call it, the Cleveland County Youth Football League, is their jamborees happen Saturday up at Burns.
Well, it should be said right now that by the time this airs, that will already have happened.
Right, yeah.
So we don't want people to look at it and think that coming Friday is...
Yeah. So, this will air the week after.
Yeah.
That all takes place. But how important is that for those elementary school kids to kind of get grandfathered into your guys' schemes? Like the schools that feed in the Shelby, the Bowling Springs, the Springmores that feed in the Crest. Do you guys correlate with the coaches down in that level and say, hey, this is kind of what we're looking for so we can have that program, those kids getting ready to come to the middle school and then to get into the high school and kind of know, hey, this is the system. This is what I'm used to. I mean, obviously you have changes in coaches and that kind of thing, so that kind of changes from year to year, but that kind of basic thing that you guys were talking about.
The Little League, there's been some years we do clinics with our Little League coaches that show them what we do, but we don't tell them that what they need to do. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking about South Point. You go over there to
I was going to mention South Point because that
they
is
do
from,
that from the time they're 6.
Yeah, and what helps them is their style of play dictates that they can do that at a younger age. Like Coach, if he's trying to spread out and throw it when you're 3rd and 4th grade, it's difficult. So they do a great job there doing that with their young kids. And like us, I haven't been here very long, but we just through the middle school, through the middle school coaches, I think we've done a good job just building a bond and being. And
let me just say, our heart goes out to Crest Middle. I know that has a big loss to that community over there. And
Coach Mountain.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
Chris Mountain,
no question.
I can't imagine what they're going through, and I know Lori and I we've prayed for them for a while now. But saw Brock at the scrimmage, and I've had a chance to say hey to him, and I know Coach Lloyd is there for him. I know Coach Lloyd has gone through losing a dad,
no doubt,
and who knows, that may be why you need to be there.
Sure, no question.
You can. I don't know what that's like, but Coach Lloyd knows what it's like, so Brock maybe can lean on Coach Lloyd. But our heart goes out to that community.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. That was to get that news last week on Monday morning was devastating. I mean, I think that was a shock to the whole community around. So yeah, definitely our thoughts and prayers are still with the Melton family, his wife, his kids, and the whole community of Crest. And I mean, like I said, this is the moment where the game kind of takes a back seat, and you kind of see the community of what football really brings to our community.
Al, at Coach Melton's service at his funeral last week, I mean, just the sheer number of people there, all the players he had coached and touched, it just shows you that sometimes I think maybe coaching is it can be difficult, but I do think it just showing from what he had did with those kids all the way through, just how just how much they looked up to him and respected him, and it was just a great. It was a great service, just honoring his life, and like I said, we'll just continue to pray for the family.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back on Mind Your Business podcast with more with Coach Wilbanks and Coach Lloyd.
Attention home buyers. Call Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control before purchasing your new home to avoid getting stuck with extensive damage, typically not covered by homeowners insurance. Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control will inspect your home for prior or present wood-destroying insects and moisture. Call Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control today to schedule your free estimate at 1-800-7-THE-WEB and receive $25 off any new service from Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control.
Welcome back to Mind Your Business podcast. Alan, I love it. I love it. Nobody's going to know what you just did because you went on camera, but you
giving you Hollywood
all the way. You got the 3-2, went silent, gave me the nod, ready to go. We're back on Mind Your Business.
I walked in to set up today, and Bart was in there, and I said, Mr. Spielberg has arrived.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan, you do all of this. You do the lights, the cameras. I mean,
no, don't say that because the lights are not that great tonight.
Well, I think
Bart did the lights.
I think I look pretty good.
All right.
Pin it on Bart.
Yeah, put it on Bart. We're back with Coach Lloyd and Coach Wilbanks from Crest and Shelby, just talking a little bit about football and the rivalry and their coaching style and just things that go into the season. Speaking of the season, I mean, it's coming up. I mean, you guys have already had a scrimmage. The Jamboree's coming up. Coach Lloyd, you guys play in the Jamboree South Meck.
No, we play Monroe.
Oh, Monroe.
Yeah.
I got wrong information. Who gave me this? Alan.
Don't even.
You gave me wrong information.
I gave you nothing.
Shelby, I'm going out on a limb. Do you guys play in West Charlotte?
We do.
Okay.
You got one right.
Yeah.
I got my own school wrong. How does that happen?
Bart, can you do anything with him?
Oh, man, it's been tough.
So when you go into the Jamboree and the scrimmages, obviously the main thing is you want to see what you have in certain positions, certain players. But what else do you look for in those type games? I mean, you're only playing a half and that kind of thing. Do you care that you win that half, or like is it more like, you know what, let's just see what we got going on? And do you show all your
You don't show all your cards.
Show all your cards.
You do not show anything that you're really going to be.
They're sandbagging.
A little bit, right?
You probably don't show. You're probably not ready to show some of your stuff yet. It's so early, but you want to play well, and it's usually your first game-like situation. So that's really, I think, what you're trying to do out there is just get your punt team out there right, and you punt return, and if you need to kick a field goal, you can run out there and try to make, just game stuff that you can't simulate in practice. I think that's what the Jamboree is good for, just getting your personnel groups on and off the field, coaching from the sideline, getting kids in and out, rotating kids, working on your substitution. So all that's kind of what's important. You want to do well. You'd like to win or keeping score. I think Coach would probably say the same thing, trying to win.
If the scoreboard's on, you want to win.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And then Cleveland County has we've always taken pride in the Jamboree and doing well. But we're playing Monroe. They're going to be one of the top 2A teams in the state. I mean, they're going to be right at the top for sure. And they're playing West Charlotte, who's going to be one of the best 3A teams in the state. So our competition Friday is going to be very good.
Do you think they're saying the same thing about you guys?
They'll say we have good competition.
I saw some kind of press conference with the head coach at West Charlotte, Coach Griner.
Coach Griner, yes.
And he was mentioning how he was looking forward to coming to Cleveland County because he's going to get a chance to kind of measure against Cleveland County. It was kind of a tip of the hat to us.
Yeah.
And so because, I don't know where all they've ever played jamborees, but he was just saying that to make it in the playoffs, you've got to make it through somebody from Cleveland County. And like last year, it was Crest.
Yeah.
The last 3 years he's played 2 straight years. Kings Mountain. And I was at Kings Mountain. We played them in the playoffs twice, and they really that second game. was really tough, and they had a great chance to win. And then last year when they played at Crest, the same way. It was similar games. They could have easily won both games. They're very good, very talented.
The Crest West Charlotte game last year was another phenomenal game. I mean, you think about a couple plays. The one that comes in to mind was a pass play that Crest intercepted in the end zone. One of the best catches I've seen at the high school level in a little while. From a cornerback. I mean, he just played the ball right, one-handed in the end zone touchback. That kind of changed that momentum of that game. But you're right, Coach Lloyd. I mean,
that game was over till that play was made.
Yeah. So I mean, you think about the jamboree, and you're getting the kids hyped. This week for Cleveland County in general is a huge week for Shelby. Just for the city of Shelby. I mean, you got the World Series in town starting up, and then you got the Cleveland County Jamboree. School starts back tomorrow. We hadn't even talked about that.
Yeah. You got the Mind Your Business podcast season kicking off.
Season 2 kicking off.
You know,
must-see TV.
Yeah, this is August 13th, so school starts back tomorrow, August 14th. You got all of that happening. Kind of getting back into like a regular routine when you're talking about practice, like after school, stuff like that. How do you
practice?
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice.
How do you get the kids kind of transitioning from like summer sessions to not having school into that more school routine and coming right after class to practice, and then hey, make sure you're doing your homework tonight. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you stand up on your grades, because they haven't had to worry about that. Right. It's been just football for the past few weeks, and now you got school integrated in that.
Well, I think school starting earlier is going to be nice, because there's a lot of years that we're going to school on Wednesday and we have our first
you play your first game Friday. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be nice to have school for a couple of days with the jamboree, just like Coach Lloyd was saying. The jamboree is good. You want to see your kids play and put them in situations, but a lot of it's just getting used to the logistics of, all right, we had school, get out, come down, we're going to get dressed, we're going to get on the bus, we're going to go warm up, we're going to be on the sideline, we can't stand out there with you, getting your guys on and off the field, signaling plays in, checking defenses or whatever. It's just all the logistics, I think, is what the jamboree, and of course, and he's exactly right, you want to win, and you want to compete and put out a good product, because you're in front of all of Cleveland County.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just dress rehearsal, getting your kids used to being in front of a lot of people under some lights. And so just kind of get their nerves settled a little bit. But as far as school, that's something I've kind of been preaching to mine for the last several days. Look, school's starting. We're not going to do this. You're going to do that. Represent our program. And many times you say it, they're still going to do some stuff that they shouldn't do.
Not so smart stuff.
I mean, they're teenage boys. We all were teenage boys at one time.
Absolutely.
So,
right.
But I think as many times they can hear stuff, the better. So we've been trying to preach it to them for the last few days, and hopefully it'll help. But I think it's a lot better having school starting earlier for me, to give our kids a chance to get used to going to school and to practice and to a jamboree before we get into game week next week.
Yeah, it's way better having them in school,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. The kids, we have great attendance to practice, but sometimes, it's just easier when they're in school. They're there.
Yeah.
And you just practice right after school.
I would support year-round school.
Really?
So there you go.
How about that?
I mean,
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off kind of thing?
Well, some people do it like 9 weeks on, 3 weeks off throughout the year. But
yeah,
I'd love it.
More like, yeah.
Because Coach Lloyd would say we're there anyway, so you might as well have school and
no question.
Bring the kids on down afterwards.
Coach Lloyd, as far as the stadium getting ready, Wilbanks, you can chime into this a little bit, but more so for you guys, because you guys got a brand new concession stand this year. How is that? Is that almost finished? Is it going to be ready for game time?
Yeah, I think it's going to be ready for the Burns game August 30th. It looks really nice. Went up and went inside. It's really sharp, and it's just added to the look of the stadium.
Yeah,
it's much needed. I know I speak for Burns when I say it. It just added to the stadium, and it looks good. And we're excited to have that nice press box.
Press box looking good.
Big concession stands. A lot of bathrooms up there. It's nice.
That's good. That's good.
I know the people will be excited to have it.
Would you give out free hot dogs dogs since, to celebrate the new concession stand?
I don't know if they will, but
a stress test, if you will.
I think we should.
There you go.
But I don't have much say.
How many hot dogs can be served?
They don't listen to me.
At least to the coaching staff. Free hot
yeah,
dogs.
no.
Yeah, exactly. In the off season, and this is a little bit of change of topic, but do you guys encourage your players to take supplements? And if so, what do you encourage them to take? Or
I don't think I think there was a time they maybe did that, but now it's more, it's up to them, the parents and so forth, and checking with physicians and make sure, because
I know when we were in high school, the big thing, creatine. Man, you got to get you some creatine.
Amino acids.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Is that still around? I mean, does anybody still talk about that? Or?
I don't hear it. Most of mine are doing the protein.
A lot of protein.
Protein powder, protein bars, protein shakes. That's kind of the thing now.
I know the fitness industry is, again, just like the game from 1980, all rushing yards, the fitness industry has changed tremendously. There's so much that goes into nutrition now. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a nutrition person that just does that for you guys, or is that just kind of like an athletic trainer, or again,
kind of athletic trainer, and some of our guys are a little more, I don't know. What do y'all have, Coach?
During the spring when we got weightlifting, I'll have them some kind of bar and some chocolate milk from the cafeteria when they're getting done lifting. And then this summer, after summer workouts, the school would give us lunches because they had the feeding program. But the funny thing is, a lot of our kids won't eat that school lunch.
Right.
So I'm like, what are y'all talking about? But then I've got a couple of moms on the team. They'll come a couple times a week and have either some kind of snack or some kind of sandwich for them. And
so they're not bringing Baconators from Wendy's or anything like that.
They may grill some hot dogs every now and then, or some ham and cheese sandwiches or something. But most of the studies show that when they get done doing some kind of exercise, they need some kind of calories going back in. Yes. It don't matter what it is.
Right. So question, typically you have a pregame meal, right? Most of the time, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. Do you ever get to the pregame meal and like, why are we eating this? This is going to just kill our performance. We're going to Cramp City tonight. Like, we know this is not going to be good. Or do you go ahead and tell whoever's doing it, whatever church is doing it, hey, this is kind of what we're looking to have. Like, don't go overboard here. No, pecan pie.
Yeah, we got a great couple of parents that kind of help us organize our pregame meals, and they have there's certain things we'll have them, that they can have, and they're pretty on it. And I've not been at Crest. This is my experience at other schools I've been at. They've done a good job, and I've already talked to the parent here, and she's going to do a great job too, get our kids meals on pregame.
That was probably the coach of Burns calling.
yeah. Sorry about that. Wow.
So no Salisbury steak with gravy or nothing heavy like that.
No, we've done that. We've done that before. We typically try to stay away from fried stuff mainly.
Yeah.
KFC buckets.
And we eat about 3:30. I don't know about what Coach does. We usually eat about 4 hours before the game, so
it really don't matter.
It's not too bad.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's plenty of time for it to kind of digest and get out of there and get ready.
Wait a minute now.
Now, if I ate big at 3:30, I'd still be in trouble at 7:30. But these 15, 16-year-old boys, man, they can eat and
just be good.
Am I the only one that caught that?
Yes, Alan. So move on.
It's enough time to eat and get it out of there. Is that what you said?
I mean,
So what kind of involvement do you guys need, or what kind of support do you need from the parents to help your team be successful during the season? Because that does play an important part.
Well, for us, we got a parent that kind of organizes the feeding. Got a group of parents, and it's not anything formal. They just kind of taking it upon themselves, and they'll organize somebody to give us something after an away game. Mm-hmm. When we get back on the bus, it'll be just a snack. It ain't a meal necessarily. Sometimes it is, but it could be just a bag of chips and a drink. And that's the biggest support. And we got a couple parents to help out with some fundraisers, and I got one parent or two that'll, like Coach was talking about, getting kids up there during the summer. I got a couple that'll bring her son, but then she'll go pick up 2 others,
right,
to bring them to practice. And
but all that means a lot.
It does. People don't realize how important that is, but it's nice. You got to have that kind of support.
You do, and you got to have support. You need supportive parents. You really do, because the kids go home every night and they're with them, man. You know, when they support what's going on at the program and they support the coaching staff, and you know they're encouraging their kids to work hard regardless of the situation, they'll perform better, they'll play better, they'll be happier. So they play a key role a lot of times in the success of a team.
Yeah, it's talking about just getting ready and going into the season. Jamboree's coming up. Really, that dress rehearsal that you guys have Friday night is big for both of you going into the season, because it doesn't get any easier when you look at the schedule that you guys have with the first 4 or 5 games before you get into conference. For instance, Shelby, you guys start with Kings Mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, one of your bigger rivals, obviously. Again, I still think Crest is the biggest, but a huge game. Then you play AC Reynolds.
Yeah.
And then you come to Crest.
Yep.
And then you play Olympic.
Yep.
And then you start your conference against Cherryville.
I mean, that is a
baptism by fire.
Yes.
But that's
the gauntlet.
But talking about that, and then for Crest, you start Burns, another rival game, Cleveland in county rival, Shelby, Charlotte Catholic, and then you start your conference with Ashbrook.
And Ashbrook's, they're going to be really good.
So we talked a little bit, Coach Wilbanks. We talked about this a little bit last year. That gauntlet that you guys set up to go through prepares you. Again, when you start 0-3, you're like, why in the world did I do this to myself? But it prepares you for those late October, early November, getting you where I feel like the pinnacle point, obviously, is to get to the state championship game, obviously. But a lot of people want, I hear all the time coaches talk about how awesome it is to practice the day after Thanksgiving. Getting there, getting to that point, or being able to practice on Thanksgiving, and playing the day after Thanksgiving. Getting to that point. That gets you, those games right there is what prepares you to get to that point, right?
Oh, yeah. We believe that in adverse situations, like Kings Mountain will provide us with, AC Reynolds will provide us with, Crest will provide us with, Olympic will provide us with, is going to reveal the character of our team. We're going to find out who we got. I mean, if you schedule teams that you're definitely better than and you're going to win by a large margin, everybody's happy and everything's good, but you put your team in a tough situation where they're playing against some really high caliber competition. Well, then we're going to find out what we're made of. It's kind of like finding out the purest of gold. You got to burn away the impurities. It's kind of like going through that kind of stuff. Is like you said, baptism by fire. We're going to find out who's really with us and who likes to compete and who likes to play in a tough situation. And then the other part of that is in Cleveland County, and I'm sure Coach Lloyd will second this. Even at this time when he was coaching at Kings Mountain, we're wanting to win the conference championship, but there's also a bigger stage. There's also another piece in November that everybody's vying for, and that's what you're doing at the beginning of the year is you're trying to get your team to play at a high level early so we know where that bar is and so we can carry it all throughout the season.
Is it much talked about between players? I know it is fans, players, coaches, of not just winning the rival games, but actually being like, okay, we want to be conference champions, but we also want to be county champions as well. Is that kind of discussed amongst the players? Maybe county not amongst champions.
I think they're excited to play the county games, and I would say if one of the county schools goes 3-0 in the county, I would say they're going to have a really very good shot that year.
Yeah.
They'll probably play very deep in the playoffs, truthfully.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way it's been for a long time.
I mean, there's been years we've won the state championship, and I think there's been years we were 1-2 in the county.
Yeah.
But it's just speaks to the quality of football that is in Cleveland County.
Mm-hmm. Does social media affect your players on a high school level? And if so, I mean, is it usually in a positive or a negative way? Or, Nick Saban always referred to it as rat poison. I mean, is there any degree of that on a high school level? Or you guys even have to deal with that or overcome it?
I think it can be an issue. I think it can be some good and some bad. There can be some positive. It's like anything else, and like we're talking about recruiting, what kids put on their Twitter or whatever it's called now, and it's important to represent yourself like you should. So I don't know, Coach. What do you think?
I try. Usually I try to challenge mine from time to time to unplug. I probably won't do it. I mean, Coach Lloyd and I both have raised teenagers, and they're probably not going to unplug as much as I want them to.
Right.
But especially going into a big game when there's going to be a lot of talk about the game, I try to challenge them just to put it away, because I don't look at it. I mean, people may say I'm terrible or whatever. I don't know it.
You don't have.
I don't get on it because I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear the good or the bad, because it's going to affect the way I think. So I try to challenge them to do the same thing. I think there is a good to social media. I think there is a good to getting your stuff out there for recruiting. There's a good for communicating, but it also can be like anything else. If it's used the wrong way, it can be bad. It can get sideways in a hurry if you're not careful.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at rivalry games. Like you said, going into those big games like that, you get on those social media boards where all the fans are on there, and this is that, it's being said, and that's being said. And it's hard because, again, at the end of the day, we're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. I mean, they're still learning not just football, they're learning life.
Yep.
And this is what they're being exposed to, in the sense of where you look at it at the end of the day, everybody wants to win, but it's a game.
Is that really out there, Justin? I mean, is it like that on social media? I don't know.
Oh yeah. You get on these like they have like they have one for Crest, one for Shelby. You have all these different forums that the fans create, and a lot of times it's not positive stuff, especially if the team is not doing well. I mean, it gets ugly quick, and you're like, man, like at the end of the day, we're talking about, this is not professional.
We're talking about a sophomore in high school. Give them a break. Yeah.
I only see it on the pro stuff, like on the Hornets or Panthers. Like, they lose one game, fire the coach. One game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, you look at any time that you guys have had a rough season or whatever, or you started off rough and then you wind up winning a state championship, or you making a deep run into the state playoffs. Those first few games, or if you had a skid or something like that in the middle of that season, or you lose to your rival, it all, like, the claws just come out, and it's like, wait a minute, guys, like, take a look at the whole season for a second.
Sure. I remember in 2003 we started the season off 0-3, and we ended up winning the state championship, and it was tough after the first few games, probably about like what Coach felt last year. People expect the programs in the county to do well, and
I remember that season.
It was kind of tough, and we went to Marlboro County that fourth game. We ended up winning. We ended up winning the conference. We got on a roll. We had, of course, Brandon Spikes was our middle linebacker. We had Martre Littlejohn run the ball. I mean, we had some really good players, but that was a trying year, and we overcame it. It really was an amazing season.
That was an amazing career for Spikes. State championship, national championship, and Super Bowl rings. Oh yeah, all three.
So is a winner.
So looking at that particular season, I remember that season. Obviously, I was still in school. There was you said a trying season. That was the year of Coach Kirby, right?
Yes.
And many people don't know this, but the reason Travis wasn't playing that year, there was a lot of things that happened, and he wasn't on the team. And Martre stepped up and took over that role, and I mean, obviously had an outstanding season.
Martre had a great season. Yeah. And that following year when Travis came back, when they were both back there, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they were such good boys.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that year. I remember I had Travis and Martre. I was offensive coordinator that year, and in our heavy package, our short yardage package, I always said I had Brandon Spikes was our fullback, and Travis was our tailback. I'm like, I was a lot better coach that year. You know what I'm saying? It was, when you, it was amazing.
That's some power at fullback.
100%. Anybody could call them plays and get yards and points. But we had a New England Patriot NFL player at fullback and an Olympian at tailback. I mean, how incredible is that?
That doesn't happen. That might be a once in a lifetime.
It's amazing. It truly was amazing. And Travis was really the fastest person I have ever seen.
Yes.
I mean, he was amazing.
And that started, you knew in elementary school that kid was going to be special because he played for Elizabeth. I remember playing him so many times. This dude would just, they would just throw a little halfback sweep. He would go to the corner. Don't have nothing there. Cut it back. Gone. Sideline. 50-yard, 60-yard touchdown every time. Yep. And I remember playing against Brandon and getting hit by Brandon. and
that's why he didn't play high school football.
That's when I knew he was going to play in the NFL.
Yeah, they were special. And I don't think Travis really much was. I'm not even sure he was tackled till he got to high school. I mean, that's how fast he was.
It's true. It happened at an elementary level, middle school level. I mean,
nobody ever wrapped him up.
They couldn't touch him. They couldn't catch him to wrap him up. They couldn't even put a finger on him.
It's hard to describe what somebody runs in the 4.2s, how fast that really is when you just see somebody.
Oh yeah, we thought our fast guy, he ran 4.8s, and we thought he was fast, And I mean, that's just not even close.
That's the difference between Polk County and Cleveland County.
Man,
maybe. We might have had a 4.6 guy.
Fired.
Where do you guys think the toughest place to play a road game inside Cleveland County is, and outside of Cleveland County?
Oh, great question.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's kind of a loaded question for him.
That is true. You kind of set him up for failure there.
Excluding your own stadium.
Outside of Cleveland, I'm going to go to outside of Cleveland County.
He's not going to touch it.
They're all Cleveland County. It's just wherever you go.
Every road game's going to be tough, but just in your experiences.
I don't know. I don't like going to any of them because it's hard. That's because every fan base is so passionate, and so when you go in there, they're going to have a student section, and they're going to have a bunch of fans.
Yep.
And so it's going to be tough wherever you go in Cleveland County, but out of county, I'll probably say Lineberger Stadium. That's a tough place to play.
That's probably true.
That is a tough place to play.
Second that's South Point. So
yeah.
We go there this year. So
yes.
that's and they're going to be really good. So we play there this season. So, and in county, like Coach said, all four schools has a good home field advantage and big crowds. And I know the years I was at Kings Mountain, it just by the time now it's they do a great job hosting there, and of course Burns does a great job, and Shelby does a great job, and I know that when you play an in-county game, it's just packed, and it's just like I said, it's just special, and like if you're a kid that gets to play in that, that's not ever, like I said, not every county's like this, so it's impressive.
We kind of touched on this just a minute ago, but who do you guys think the best player you ever coached was? And who do you think the best player you ever coached against was on a high school level?
Oh, that's another loaded question.
That is tough.
Pick your favorite.
Well, it's not necessarily the favorite. It's just, you might have only had a personal experience with, certain ones.
I'm going to go to the coached against.
He's deferring.
Well, there's so many. You talk about.
Look how many scholarship players you guys have coached.
You talk about offensive linemen, you talk about a receiver, you talk about a running back. Talk about a linebacker. There's so many different players on the kicker. I wouldn't say kicker right out the gate, but there's been some good kickers out there.
Yeah.
But coached against, Brandon Spikes, I think about him, and I think about that backfield at Crest, and I think about the years we played at South Point, South Carolina. They had Darion Kendrick, who ended up playing at Clemson in Georgia, and he's in the NFL now.
Yeah.
And then I tell people all the time, that big tight end from Reidsville last year, he is a special talent. I've been coaching for 27, 28 years or whatever, and there's a few times that Rico Dowdle at AC Reynolds, he plays for the Cowboys now. There's a few times in your high school career that you're on the field and you think, that dude may play on Sunday, much less college. Yep. And that was kind of how I felt with Darion Kendrick, kind of how I felt with Rico Dowdle, kind of how I felt with Brandon Spikes. Even though Brandon was kind of early in my career, I thought, man, this dude is something. But that's kind of how I looked at the Kendra Harrison kid at Reidsville last year, because I heard all the hype going into the game. But then when we got there, I thought, that kid is special. So those are some of the best ones that I've coached against. But there's been so many.
I didn't hear your name mentioned, Justin. He must not have saw much potential with you.
Yeah, well, you know.
When I was at Kings Mountain, I think Jonathan Bullard. We could.
Bullard. I forgot about him.
We could not block we could not block him.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered how many people we put on. We couldn't block him. He's too big.
Now he went to Florida too.
He did.
Yep.
He did. There's been so many good players. I mean, good gracious.
Raheem
Raheem was a great player.
Harbison, you know.
Yeah.
All these guys.
I was fortunate enough. Probably the best receiver I've ever had is Kobe Paysor who's at Carolina now playing, and he plays at. He played for us at Kings Mountain. He was special. He had 27 touchdowns as a sophomore. I was always thinking how amazing that was. Over 3 seasons, he didn't play his senior year because it was COVID, and he ended up going to Gaffney. And long story short, we lost one game in the spring, but it'd been nice to have him, and we didn't have him. And he had scored 49 touchdowns as a freshman, sophomore, and junior. And he was amazing.
Wow. You talk about special stats. You talk about players that you coached, and Kobe, he was special. He was special on both sides of the ball. People talking about him being a receiver, but then he turned around and played DB.
Yep.
Like at at Shelby with Dax Hollifield. Most people don't know, but he played in 63 games.
And he went to Virginia Tech.
He went to Virginia Tech, but he played in 63 games in his high school career, which is tied for the most, or maybe by himself, the NCHSAA most games played in. That's a pretty good career just playing in that many games.
Wow.
But he was
I knew it'd be a tough question to answer.
Yeah, but he was just such a hard worker. That's what people don't realize. I mean, in January, he's in the weight room competing like he's got a game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his work ethic was phenomenal.
There's just so many good players come through this county. It's crazy.
It's crazy. We could do your whole podcast.
I mean, like you said, this county is the cream of the crop. I mean,
Burns has had
the Briscoe
NFL
kid
players.
You got the
Chambers at Burns. He was good.
Scotty Montgomery.
Scotty Montgomery. There's all in the NFL.
Yeah. Then the Briscoe kid receiver. And
He went to Tennessee and played.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some great talent.
Did any of these guys ever come back and say, thanks, Coach, and just throw some money on you or anything?
Throw some money on you. Here's a Ferrari for you.
You made me, man. Here's this keys to this car.
I bought you a Camry.
I like talking about going back to the toughest place to play on the road. I would third the whole South Point. Mm-hmm. The whole adage there is, the whole notion is, if you go to South Point, you're already 21 down. Just because of the refs and how they call on that. I mean, there's a lot of home cooking. There's a lot of home cooking up in Gaston County. I'm just saying. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
He'll be here all night.
Blaming the refs already.
The game it's not even started.
Like a true number one fan, baby.
Please add 21 points to the home team scoreboard, please.
I'm telling you, that is the notion. Coaches won't get into it because they're going to stick to the coach talk. But I'm telling you right now, that is the notion. That is the plague.
Once again, folks, his last name is Martin.
True.
Both of you guys are coming off of great seasons. After a few years of having outstanding season after outstanding season, and expectations get so high from everybody, how hard is it to meet those expectations every year and maintain that excellence? I mean, is it doable? I mean, you guys have obviously done it as good as anybody, but how hard is it?
Well, this has been my first year back at Crest. I mean, even the years I was at Kings Mountain, our last 9 or 10 years, we were pretty much double-digit wins every year, and it was because and just putting a good product on the field. I mean, it's hard to get there, but it's really hard to maintain. And I know how Crest is, because I graduated there. I coached there. I was assistant coach there 10 years. It was like that those years I was there, so I know exactly what it's like. But I like it that the expectations are high. I would rather coach at a place where you expect to do well. I think it carries over to the players and the coaches. And we have an excellent coaching staff over at Crest, just like I know Coach has at Shelby, and we just kind of, we understand it, and that's it motivates you. So it's I think it makes it better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather be somewhere where the I don't know what it would be like.
Wilbanks, you just win us 4 or 5 games. You're good.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine.
He doesn't suck. Let's not fire him.
Well, I can't imagine a Friday night just being just something it's not a big deal. A Friday night game.
Just field a team.
Just go out there.
You guys would probably get no enjoyment out of coaching if you were anywhere else at this point, because it's like the adrenaline almost or something.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. I mean,
it is. It's exciting to play in the big games, coaching the big games, and I think you're right. I think once you've experienced it, I think some coaches may not know what they're missing. I guess is a good way to put it. They may not know what it's like to have that. It is pressure, but it's also so exciting, and it's a lot of fun. And even the emotional roller coaster after a game, win or lose, you're just kind of, oh man, that was fun. That was a whirlwind. But there's some Friday nights going into it, I'm like, man, might be nice to be at one of these schools.
How much sleep do you get on game night after the game? Like, do you guys ever?
After the game.
After the
How
game,
long does it take to wind down?
Win or lose, all of that run, especially say
I think you'd sleep better than before the game, wouldn't you?
I'm pretty wired after the game.
After the game, how about that?
So 1 or 2 o'clock, if I'm sitting on the couch, I'll fall asleep sitting up usually. Maybe watching highlight or something.
The night, Saturday night is the night I crash. I'd love to stay up. I'd love to stay up and watch all the college games I could, but I just that 8 o'clock game. If I make it to halftime of that 8 o'clock Saturday night game, I've done something. And it's hard to get up Sunday morning. Just Saturday night's the night that I crash.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back. When we come back, we got some more questions, but these are a little more fun. We're getting a little more into your character.
Rapid fire, Justin?
It's rapid fire.
My favorite part.
We brought it back for season 2. Bart is ready to go. So we're going to ask you a couple questions, more than a couple, actually. Get your rapid response. We get to talk about it and laugh with you and answer the questions with you. But that's one of the favorite parts of the podcast from season 1 was the rapid fire question. Wouldn't you say, Alan?
Yeah, on the YouTube when it shows you the little graph of the most watched part, that's the part.
Is it
wow.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, the
I
rapid
didn't know
fire.
That. That's great.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That would have been great information to know.
Dropping the
beforehand.
knowledge bomb.
You are. Knowledge bombs. So we'll be back on My New Business podcast with Rapid Fire next.
They're everywhere. Your yard, your kitchen, your bedroom. Invading your home and property, spreading disease, and destroying everything in their path. If you don't act, they'll multiply, crawling ever closer to you and your family. The only thing they fear is the web. Nelon-Cole Termite and Pest Control. Call today for their new service special and save $25. Bugs, beware of the web.
Welcome back to My New Business podcast. Alan, you are a pro now at that. Thank you for the Hollywood information.
Yeah, for those who don't know, I'm sitting back here going, and in 3, 2.
Yeah, I should have done that for the visual audience. They don't have no idea what I'm talking about. But we're back with Coach Lloyd, Coach Wilbanks. It's been a blast so far. We're going to have some more fun. We were talking about off air, just bringing the conversation into the live is the old clipping.
The old clipping.
The old clipping. We're making a we're calling it to bring it back.
Leave a comment if you're over 40 and you remember the clipping penalty.
I'm 36 and
you don't remember the clipping penalty?
I do remember. Yeah, the old signal of the like Coach Wilbanks said to the cat.
Yeah, they would
there
signal
used to be spearing too.
Oh, when I coached, talking about spearing, when I coached Little League at Spring.
They call it helmet-to-helmet contact now.
I got so upset because this one little kid just took the crown of his helmet right into my little running back's chest. I mean, just crown of helmet right to the chest. It was right before halftime. I got so mad that there wasn't a flag called, and we lost like 13-6. I was so upset about that. I was like, "You gotta call a flag for spearing."
Hey, when we played, if you didn't spear, you speared every play. I mean, you led with the head. That's just how you hit. I mean,
now it's called targeting.
Yeah, and you'll be ejected. I'd be injected the first play.
Yeah.
Injected
or ejected.
What? So real quick before we get into rapid fire, I got one question, one kind of follow-up question to kind of wrap it up in a bow. I have to know, what is the most egregious call that you've seen?
What did you just say?
I don't know.
Well, I was wondering what that word was.
Can anybody repeat what word he just said?
I was trying to.
Egregious?
The most egregious call.
What is the most egregious call?
Everybody's looking up that word.
We're going into power formation. We're just going to power right through that, okay? What is the most outrageous call that you
gave up on the word?
I did. I told you we're just powering through.
Let me help you. Right. Egregious.
Hey, thank you, Alan. I appreciate you. You're always there for me, Alan.
He's not really.
No, he's not.
Oh, that was gold.
That you experienced.
You got so many you're going through your mind, Coach Lloyd?
Well, I think the officials do a really good job, but I mean, just like anybody else, there's mistakes made, and just like coach makes mistakes, player make mistakes. But I'm trying to. We had a pass interference at Hunter Huss one time that was just ruined our chance to win, and it's hard to get over that. I mean,
that is the hardest thing to get over. If it is a bad call or a questionable call, and it's a game deciding call, that's what you can't live with.
Well, see, I'll tell you that we were at High Brighton in 2017, and it was the state semifinals, and we had just blocked a punt, so we had the ball at like the 2 going in. So we go in with our heavy package, and we don't cut block a whole lot. We don't. I mean, we're not South Point, and we don't. I mean, they know they do it. It's not anything. They're at your knee.
They're doing
it's legal. I mean, the way they do it's legal.
Right. The way they do it is legal, and they do a really good job at it. But so we had one guy blocking, and the other guy came in low, which is illegal. The guy coming in low didn't even touch him. He tried to get to him, didn't even get to him, and we watched the film. But what people don't understand is in that round of the playoffs, you got 7 officials on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So they saw it. And we got flagged. And it wasn't I'm not saying it was the wrong call or the bad call, but it was the worst time to call. And so we got backed up 15 yards, and now we're at the 17. We drop a pass in the end zone. We end up having to kick a field goal. We missed the field goal. And we didn't win that game that year, but that's one call that kind of sticks out in my mind, just the timing of it. And we still, in our coach's office, we still talk about cutting. We do not cut. If somebody else is blocking them, don't even try to cut them.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like there's been a call against you in bad faith? Maybe don't want to answer that one.
I don't want to think that, so I don't think so.
That would be the worst.
That would be bad. We had a bad call. I thought one time it was a 2001 state championship game at Crest. We was playing Parkland, and we lost 27-21. And one of their touchdowns, I think his name was Jed. I can't remember. Parkland had a really good tailback, but anyway, they called us on a screen pass, and when the lineman released downfield, the running back's got to catch the ball at the line or behind it. He caught it 7 yards downfield, so all their line was downfield. None of the officials acted like they couldn't see anybody. That's crazy. And then that's one of their scores. And I mean, it's just, I think just to an average fan, they wouldn't think nothing about it. But from a coach, I mean, the running back's 7 yards downfield, the lineman's downfield, and they just let it go. And it bothers you because you lose by 6 points. It may happen in the first half, but it's like, man,
that one.
What if they would have threw the flag? What would have happened? So, and you get calls go your way too. So I mean, it's not. It all evens out sometimes.
This is another topic we could do a whole.
Just go on and on for.
Yeah, should do a segment just on clipping penalties.
We should. And going back to the bad faith question, that happens every time you go to South Point. So there you go.
There's their whole 21-0. Martin, Justin,
we're going to lose all our Gaston fans.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone.
Do you have a Facebook page?
No, I don't. Maybe. Don't look me up. All right, we're getting back to the favorite. Apparently, the most viewed last season
because we're on a school night
of our podcast. So yeah, we got to get these school night. Got to get the coaches home and all that stuff. But the most viewed. Segment of our podcast was the rapid fire.
Rapid fire
all season last year, huh?
Probably because we make fun of them, and Jab them.
So we're getting to it. So again, Bart's going to lead this. He's going to ask you the questions. We'll go Wilbanks, Lloyd. Y'all answer in that order, and then me and Alan just have fun with it.
So I got to go first every time?
Yeah, that's not right.
Okay, we'll rotate.
I may want to copy his answer.
Yeah,
we'll give him a chance to think about it.
True. Okay, we'll rotate each question.
Name the best high school football movie. Remember the Titans, Varsity Blues, or Friday Night Lights?
Remember the Titans. Not even close for me.
Same for me.
Really?
Titans, yep.
Justin?
I love Remember the Titans. I love everything about that.
I give it a 10.
Yeah.
You don't love that?
Yeah, I like Varsity Blues. That's a little more comical, but Friday Night Lights for me. Just I know
Billy Bob Thornton.
Just that.
Billy Bob.
I know
To me, it's kind of
it's more Hollywood.
too over the top.
Yeah, that speech.
The coin flip to make the playoffs.
Oh man.
Okay.
You got to follow the dime.
Better college football coach, Philip Fulmer or Les Miles?
Gosh.
Philip Fulmer.
I'd say so too.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Philip Fulmer.
So you don't like the eating the grass before the game? I mean,
What?
Coach Lloyd could probably tell you, as coaches, we get to go hear a lot of coaches speak, and
Okay.
I've been impressed with Coach Fulmer.
He was
and
a great
no
offensive-
knock against
no,
Les Miles.
I don't like I know either one of them really.
Right,
I mean, he was. Coach Fulmer was a great offensive line coach.
Yes.
Yeah. Which wild game meat would you rather eat?
Here it is.
Venison, elk, caribou, or bear meat?
Wow. Now we get into the good stuff.
Go ahead, Coach.
What's the choices again?
Wild game meat. Venison, elk, caribou, or bear?
I'm gonna go elk.
Venison.
Justin?
The better question is, which ones have you actually tried?
I'm gonna say bear just because I didn't even know like that was a thing. To be honest with you, I'm just gonna be honest.
Can you eat bear meat? Does people do that?
Never heard of anybody having a Kodiak steak.
It's mainly black bear.
Oh, wow.
Bear burger.
Bear burger.
Bear burger. That's awesome.
How many pizzas do you think your team could eat if you took them to the all-you-can-eat buffet?
Oh, my God.
Over 50, over 75, or over 100?
Oh, whole pizzas?
Yes.
Not slices.
Pizzas.
I mean, I'd say on average they could eat one apiece. I'm gonna say about 50.
Yeah, I'm gonna go between 50 to 75.
That's what
I think I'm gonna say mine can.
You
eat
big
one.
boys could eat maybe two, but them little boys might eat half.
2 whole pizzas?
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is you don't want to take your football team to
Don't
to
take
the
them to
buffet.
Jam and J's.
Jam and J's. There's a plug. Jam and J's.
Shout out.
Yes, Jeff Walker, Jam and J's. He takes care of. He helps us out.
He does.
He's a great man. So there's a little plug for.
He's
Jam.
actually a customer at Nelon-Cole as well, so he's awesome. Yeah, Jeff Walker's good.
So he's awesome.
He is
awesome.
He is awesome.
He is.
Another Crest graduate.
There you go.
He is.
Yeah.
If you
I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, and he's got good hair.
Yes, you are.
He does have good hair.
Yeah.
Good hair.
Which both of us
Long
are.
hair.
I guess both of us are envious of the good hair.
Yeah, he got good hair.
That's awesome. Jeff Walker with the good hair.
Jam and Jam.
fancy like. If you weren't an educator and coach, which one of these jobs would you be more likely to have? A bartender, a meteorologist, a fishing guide, or a pest control technician?
Oh, man.
Is it your turn to go first?
I'll say a meteorologist. I love weather. My dad loved weather, and I mean, I'll just say that.
Yeah. That's what I would be. I love weather too.
Meteorologist.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's me. I would not be a bartender. Pest control, I probably don't want to do that. No offense. I just don't think I could do that.
You really don't. No, nobody wants to do that.
But I say meteorologist. I took a meteorology class at Gardner Webb when I was there. We'd go out every day and
Everybody with the
check out
weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love when snow season comes in, boys. I am like
Did
storm chaser.
you take meteorology, Coach Lloyd, at Gardner Webb?
I did.
Burkett, was that her name? Did you have her?
No, I had.
I had Dr. Burkett when I was there.
Oceanography.
That's
class
going back.
too, right?
Yes, I did.
It was oceanography and meteorology
Yeah.
together. I had it.
And I'm probably one of the worst science students that ever went through that school. So I mean,
No, you weren't the worst.
I was pretty bad.
Alan holds that title.
I can tell you right now, you were not the worst, my man.
So you would say Friday night forecast, Crest defensive unit, 100% chance of pain.
Ooh, the forecast calls for pain.
All right. Which play would you be likely most to call on your first offensive play of the year? Halfback dive,
the bomb,
Hail Mary, or naked bootleg tied in the flat?
Go deep.
I think we should answer for each other.
Okay, there you go.
I think Coach Lloyd's a bootleg guy.
Oh, that's probably right. So I'm gonna say, even though Hail Mary I'm just assuming that is a deep pass, so I'm going to say
go deep or go home.
There we go. I think we're.
So when we're watching the game, when you guys play each other, it's going to be, Coach Wilbanks called it.
I'm not trying to tip the hat here for anybody.
Opening play.
Awesome.
Which is the best football song? Boys of Fall by Kenny Chesney, TNT by AC/DC, We Will Rock You by Queen, or All We Do Is Win by DJ Khaled?
The best what song?
Football song.
Oh, I thought you said fall song.
For me, my personal listening pleasure, I probably like the Boys of Fall.
I do too. That song kind of gives me chills, man.
Conjures up
Same
some visions for me.
Oh, yeah. That's a great song.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who would win in a boxing match if both fighters were in their prime, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
I know who I'm picking.
That's tough.
I don't know. I didn't get to watch Muhammad Ali in his prime. I don't think I watched him a little bit as a kid when they used to have boxing on HBO, 15 rounds and all that kind of stuff. I'm a Mike Tyson guy. I think Mike Tyson.
It's tough.
That's a tough one.
It's tough.
Might be the two greatest in their prime ever.
Probably. Oh.
Yeah. In their prime is the key word.
Yeah. Alan, you said you had you came off the hip with a quick answer. What?
If you watch Tyson in his prime, you had to think there's nobody on earth that could beat him. Nobody.
But Buster Douglas did.
He wasn't in his prime.
Yeah, he was kind of declining a little at that
Was he?
And he's going to fight again. He's going to fight that social media guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
At some point,
they already do that?
hang it up.
Did they? They didn't
No,
already do
they
it, did
didn't because Tyson had something going on, so they postponed it for a little while.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but in a close game late in the fourth quarter, which factor do you think would be the most important to securing a win? A great offensive play call, a great defensive stand, a turnover, getting a little lucky, or questionable calls by the refs?
What a question. Questionable calls by the refs.
Is there an answer? Is there E, all the
clipping?
above?
A clipping penalty.
I'm going to say a defensive stand.
Yeah.
I guess if you're on defense, yeah, good defense.
Any of them,
3 and out or a 4 and out.
Could be a big role. Yeah. Turnover's
gotta,
huge, too.
Yeah. You got to make a good
It's got to be a turnover.
Play.
It's got to be a turnover.
That's definitely changing the.
That's the
whole
momentum killer.
complex of the game, depending on any turnover at any point in the game changes.
Hate them.
Have you ever had the Gatorade bath?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
is it sticky?
To me, it seems like it's a good and bad thing. I mean, it's good because, you're not going to get one if you're losing. But at the same time, I mean, usually it's cold. I mean, man, and they're full of ice. I mean, I've had
my first year as a head coach. We go over to South Point late in the game, late in the season, and back then they were in our conference, and it was for the conference championship, and we won. And so the players, they dumped the cooler on me, and it was, we're talking about first Friday in November, and it was unseasonably cold, but luckily my trainer, she knew they were doing it. She took some towels just in case. And so,
I'm surprised
that was a frigid.
2 players tall enough to get the cooler up.
Frigid
No doubt.
Did you play at South Point that night?
We were at South Point.
Oh, so you overcame the 21-point deficit.
That's right.
21-0.
And I remember in 2017, we were at Kings Mountain. We won the conference championship at Crest as the last game of the season. And I remember.
I remember that year too.
Yep, and we had a really good team at Kings Mountain.
Yeah.
We beat Crest that night, and Oh yeah, and it was cold, but when you win a big game, it doesn't matter. I just if you knew you was going to win, I don't care how much you throw on.
Yeah. If you were to do something daring or crazy, which one of these things would you be more likely to do? Hang gliding, running with the bulls in Spain, cliff diving.
Am I in my prime when I'm running with the bulls? Because I cannot do it now for
or
sure.
going streaking at the Panthers game.
Oh, man. Wow. You must pick one.
Wow.
I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
I'm sure I ain't going to streak, so I guess I'm going to run with the bulls. But then just hope he don't get me.
You ain't got to be the fastest one. You just got to be faster than somebody.
Yes, right. 100%.
I think running the bulls would be crazy fun, but at the same time, I'm like you guys. I mean, I'm almost too old. I'd be scared I'm going to get gored.
Well, you don't know how to hang glide. That'd be certain death.
It's crazy fun until you take a horn up somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you're not having fun at all.
Horn up somewhere.
You're just not. I mean, that's just facts.
If you had to engage
Be
or
a clipping penalty.
participate in an unusual sport, which one of these would you do? Mountain bike snorkeling, toe wrestling, tuna throwing, or human tower building? And all these are real sports, by the way.
What? What is
Yes.
got to be kidding me?
Okay. What is tuna throwing?
Tuna. They actually throw.
I thought he said tuna. What is tuna?
Ah, the dreaded kuna.
They actually throw a live tuna, and whoever throws it the farthest wins.
Wait a minute.
I think I would take the tuna.
Me too.
The tuna throwing?
I'll throw
Nobody for the mountain bike snorkeling?
What is that?
They fill up a big mud pit and they ride their mountain bikes through, and when they get to the pit, it goes over their heads, so they have a snorkel on to get
In mud.
Yes.
And just trying to get through.
Yes.
How does somebody not actually croak from that?
I don't know.
Wow.
Next question.
That's insane.
Do you have any tattoos?
You can say, what's in your wallet?
No.
Do not.
I do not either.
I don't either.
Alan,
What's the next question, Bart?
do you have any tattoos?
No, the next question.
Oh, so evidently you do. You got
No, I got no ink. I got no ink.
That was that crazy night in Garden Web.
Yeah.
If you had,
I was young. I needed the money.
if you had a pet parrot, what would you teach it to say?
Go Chargers.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What coaching advice would you go back and give your younger self?
That's a good one.
The sun's going to come up. That's going to be okay. Eventually, it's the bad time. It'll turn back. So, I'm like, we lose. I mean, it seems like it's the end of the world when you're struggling or lose a game, but next Friday rolls around or next season rolls around. It's okay.
Yeah, I think that's great advice I would have given myself earlier. Now, Coach Lloyd's been the head coach longer than I have, which is unusual in this day and time. I think he's done a great job at the schools he's been at, and but that's good advice. I wish I would have taken, kind of like with your grandparents. Yeah, I probably wish I would have taken more time to ask a bunch of questions of some of the older coaches when they were in their prime. Coach Taylor, his health is declining, and I never got to coach under Coach Taylor, but when I first got to Shelby in 2006, I wish I would have maybe sought him out and just ask him stuff, not necessarily X's and O's, but just talk to him more. And, so we got a lot of guys around at Shelby, just like at Crest, people who've coached there and played there. And so I think as a younger coach, I would have Coach Norman, when I was coaching under him, I wish I'd have probably asked him more stuff when I was on his staff. And then I was just kind of trying to survive.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say enjoy, when you win, enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like probably like Coach here. You win, you enjoy it for a second. You're on to the next one, unless it's the last one, and that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Sometimes you're just relieved.
You are.
You can't hardly enjoy it, and you're exactly right. That's.
Well, you guys are giving great advice right now to some coaches that are maybe listening to you.
So.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And the only other thing I would say is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know everything as the young coach, but you also don't know what you don't know. You don't know there's so much stuff out there. Like I did talk to Coach Taylor one time about taking a head coaching job. I talked to him about it, and I said, Coach, he said, well, you ain't going to know until you do it. That's the only thing I can tell you. And what he was I think what he was telling me is there's a lot of things you don't know and you won't know until you sit in that seat. And that was, to me, that was some pretty good wisdom from Coach Taylor.
Good stuff.
What 3 words would you...
we're not even done with the rapid fire.
This is the last question.
Okay. I thought that was like in the note
Lord,
right
we're
there.
near the wrap-up.
This is the wrap-up question. What 3 words would you use to best describe your team this year?
Oh, yeah, great question.
Wow, that is good.
First word that comes to my mind is fun. Every team is different, but I enjoy. They have a good time with each other. They like each other, and they have fun. On the field, off the field, they want to hang out. They're wanting to do stuff. So I think fun is one word for mine.
I'm going to say excited. They're excited to play. They're ready to get going. Fast. I think we're going to have a pretty fast team on the field. I think we're going to be physical. So excited, fast, and physical.
That sounds like a dangerous combination.
That's what we're hoping. Crest, it's a fantastic school, great community. They deserve a good football program out there, and we have a lot of good players, so we expect to go out and play good football, just like I'm sure like Coach would say as well.
Well, in my mind, both of you guys are legends already in the game, and I'm sure you're going to leave a lot more to your legacy as far as a coaching standpoint. And I'm so appreciative that you guys took time out of your schedule to be here with us. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, absolutely. So typically we hadn't got to the college football season yet. So typically we would ask like a couple games, you pick kind of winners and losers, that kind of thing. But it's right around the corner for us, right? College football, all of it. We're right there. So the preseason poll came out, top 25. Some notables there. Your top 4 is Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas. I'll give you the top 10. Then you got Alabama at 5, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, Florida State. Clemson comes in at 14. My team that I love, Tennessee's coming in at 15. And you got Iowa, NC State's 24. Iowa's rounding up to 25. I'm sure you guys, pay attention to that a little bit.
Where are the Chanticleers?
They're not on there. nor are the Gamecocks.
No running Bulldogs either?
No, they didn't make it.
I don't understand these polls.
But when you look at the poll, obviously it's preseason. You take whatever stock you want to take in that, and probably not much. But when you see some of these teams, what stands out to me when you're looking at the top 10 is really Ole Miss. Like, they're like out of nowhere, number 6. They have a good program and everything like that. But what's something that stands out to you guys when you see that college football first ranking come out? New playoff coming up, the 12 teams now. It's going to be making it more fun, I think. A lot of people are against it, taking away from the games, but I think that makes it more interesting, more fun. Kind of getting that more NFL feel, I guess, or NCAA bracket feel.
I think the 12 teams is way more fun, and that keeps more teams involved and keeps the talk around a whole lot longer.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I don't know who I might say Georgia for my friend Coach Cruz over there at Kings Mountain.
Yeah, he's a big Georgia fan. He is.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. It'll be. There's some good football teams there, and Ole Miss. I think they've just got so many portal players. Yeah, good players. I think I think that's why they're ranked so high. But
yeah,
I don't believe they'll be.
I'm wanting to see.
Win.
I'm kind of tired. Penn State. They're always being talked about, then they I mean, I hate to say you're disappointed with the 8-9 win season or 10 win. I don't know. I don't even keep up with them, but it's like every year they're up there at the beginning. Then when you get to the end, they're kind of.
They've had to play Michigan and Ohio State every year, and they lose to both of them, and they don't have a chance to make it. But now, if they just lose 2 games, they'll probably get in.
They have a chance to still get in, which makes it interesting. And I love Tennessee. I love Rocky Top. So seeing them kind of higher after losing what they lost last year, seeing them in 15 gives me some hope. I mean, they did away. ACC and SEC did away with the Coastal and South. It's all one conference now. So being able to see them that ranked that high, seeing what obviously the talent provides on the field, they have that chance to have. I mean, you got to go against the likes of Alabama, Georgia, to even win the championship. But they have a chance now with the 12-team program format to get in as an at-large bid. So I think that's cool. That, like you said, Coach Lloyd, it opens up the door for a lot more talk and a lot more teams to have that opportunity, whereas it limits it to 4. Once you lose 1 or 2 games, you're pretty much done. So,
I think there's a stretch in December. I saw somebody put up something on social media where it's like NFL, then there's a couple of bowl games, college playoff, then some more in it. There's like 12 days in a row.
Just strict football.
My gosh. Yes. Told somebody I may gain 40 or 50 pounds that 12 days.
Justin's going to take off that week. Those 2 weeks.
Already have it planned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For letting everybody know my PTO schedule.
There you go. Yeah. Vacation.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks again, Coach Wilbanks, Coach Lloyd. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for inviting us.
I think this just opens up the behind the curtain a little bit about the rivalry, but also just the community that surrounds football here in Cleveland County. I agree with both of you. I think the Cleveland County football brings it to another level. I don't know if anybody, obviously you got the West Charlotte coach looking forward to coming down here and playing this style of football, playing this type of competition down here. And I think that speaks to you guys and your coaching staffs and the way you bring it each night. And even before Friday night, Thursday nights, with the JV squads, practice all the way up, all of those things. It speaks to you guys and just what y'all do for the community as well. Again, thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedules the day before school starts back with all that going down. We really appreciate it. If you're paying attention to Mind Your Business podcast, this is episode 1, season 2. We're going to be back better than ever with more podcasts throughout the year, talking about college football, getting people involved in the community, talking about what people bring to the table for our community, not only in Cleveland, but Rutherfordton, Polk County, Gaston County, if you still love me down there, even though it is a 21-point deficit every time you go to South Point.
Sketchy.
It is what it is. I'm just calling facts for facts, okay? But yeah, we'll be here all year. So hopefully you enjoyed tonight. We'll be back better than ever next time. Until then, be nice to everybody. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you next time on Mind Your Business podcast. See you.
Haunted housing.